Hello everybody, hello. It's a slightly different video here on my barely functioning YouTube channel. I have with me via Skype call the lovely Lottie.
Hello!
Yeah, that she is. Context for this, I think we should probably phrase context. So me and Lottie have known each other for entirely too long. And one of...
That was rude.
This is entirely too long of an intro, but me and Lottie have known each other for a long time, and one of our favourite things to do, this probably started during lockdown, didn't it?
It did. I think right at the tail end of it.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it started with.
No, I can't. We can't remember all the films we've watched, but we have a hearty selection here of just terrible, sometimes good, but sometimes just terrible and dumb action films. That looks stupid. Let's watch that. We're going to put the films we have watched so far in a tier list, but because I wanted it to be an independent thing, obviously, like we have, as you can see on your screen, two separate lists. I thought we would start by pick our favourite and least favourite films of all the ones we've seen so far. So I'm going to immediately probably get annoyed at Lottie for this, but do you want to tell me what your favourite and least favourite films are, and where you'd put them on your little list here?
Well, let's start with the favourite then.
Okay.
So, these are my S tier films. S tier couldn't do better films, and they are Final Destination, all of them. Thank you.
Final Destination, all of them. Thank you. Well, I don't argue with you for a lot of them, actually.
I think I loved them so much, and they were my favourites because I wasn't expecting to like them. They were just... I remember when they came out and I thought, that's a stupid idea. Why would anyone want that? And then you said we have to watch them, and I was like, okay, fine. And they were just the best thing ever. They were just... And they kept getting better and better. I didn't dislike a single one, even though some were better than others. But I'm not going to tell you what they are. You have to guess my favourite, although I think I've already told you.
One of the toughest things in this whole thing was trying to convince you that the fifth one wasn't set when it was set.
You did some good deflecting, because I was on the right track. Yeah,
so... For those who do know, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and the rug pull at the end of Final Destination 5 is that it is set before the first film. It's a prequel, but you don't know it.
Disguise, because it's called 5. Actually, it might not be. I don't actually remember what the title of the film is.
It's just Final Destination 5, yeah. So the first one. Lottie is going to be probably less democratic about this than I am.
Don't you dare put that in a B.
I'm not. Look, none of these are going in like B, C, or D tiers, because as much as I do, I think the first one sets it up nicely.
Yep.
But and so does the second one. I'll put both of them in a solid A tier category. My favourite for a long time was number 3. I really loved number 3 for some reason. And maybe it was the most recent one, like when I got into the franchise. But yeah, that's a stormer of a film. Yeah, I'm going to put number 4 down in A tier as well, and then number 5, because of that massive rug pull ending, it goes up into S tier. But for some reason...
I can't believe you put Final Destination 2 up in S as well. Think about that kid,
the kid.
That's got to make it S tier.
The kid was hilarious. There's a kid character in number 2 who we are 100% convinced is only meant to be like 7 or 8 years old at best. But for
we think the censors made them pick a teenage actor. So you have this 16-year-old being treated as a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
And it's great to watch. Like, he's being tucked into bed, he's getting read a story, but he is clearly at least 16.
Yeah. I always forget the fact that there's that one scene where she tucks him into bed and gives him a goodnight kiss, and the kid's like almost in college. It's just... it's so dumb, and I'm just like, that poor kid.
so good.
Yeah.
That surely makes it S. Come on, Fred, move that up to S.
No, I mean, I do love, like, I'm not going to deny that I love all of the Final Destination films because they are so absurd and they're not scary, they're just, you know, they're wacky and creative and funny. But for me, there is something about number 2 that doesn't, like, maybe it's that whole, is the dentistry scene in number 2?
I think that might have been with the kid.
With the kid, yeah.
The kid.
Right, what's your least favourite one then? We'll go with yours.
My least favourite one was Night and Day.
That was on the shortlist for mine as well. And we're gonna smack this straight in the D tier, I imagine, yes?
Yes, I wrote some notes.
Oh yeah.
I can find them.
For reference, Night and Day is also for me going straight in the D tier.
I wrote the best parts of these films are not shown. You just kind of hear about what happened afterwards. I'm like, why did we not see that?
Yep, absolutely.
And then my other note was, I hated it. So, whoops.
That's it. Just like vitriolic hatred right up at the front there.
I really didn't like it. I think them telling me all these awesome things that happened and knowing I'll never get to see them really put me off.
Yeah, their main...
And it happened quite early on.
It's weird, yeah. Their main, like, plot hook. And they're just like, oh, now we're going to go into this... Like, the script writers are obviously sitting there going, now we're going to go into this awesome island chase. How do we get there? We drug one of the main characters so that they pass out, and then when she wakes up, they're in the action sequence. And that happens like 4 times.
And we never get to see the good part.
Yeah, they wake up like having either just done...
They fall asleep when they're at their worst, and you're like, how are they going to get out of this? And then they get drugged, and then they wake up and it's over. I'm like, no!
I think simply for having kicked it all off, I might just have to go with Face Off as my favourite.
It was a very good film, Face Off. I loved it. I have a few notes I've made. One is that the main character and his brother. So the main character is called Castor Troy. Fantastic name.
Yes.
His brother.
Oh yes.
Even the name Pollux Troy. Oh my gosh! I think I nearly died when I heard those names. I was like, "This is the film for me." Did the actor offend the writers? Did something happen?
It must have, right? Because no one is named that.
It's no like, one... right. Your name's Pollux now. I'm rewriting it. It's no longer John. That is an S-tier film for me. I also wrote a note about one of the things I remembered from the film, which was that he cared about his younger brother, Castor Troy. The only person he cares about in the world is his younger brother, Pollux Troy, despite the fact that he has a son. And you don't really see that often in films, people caring about their brothers over their sons.
It's one of those like quintessential like 90s action films that I just fucking love them.
So good. It's just completely ridiculous. You could not go any more over the top if you tried.
We're going to continue with my least favourite. Now, you already took Night and Day, which, how dare you?
Was that going to be yours?
It was on the shortlist.
Okay. Then I've helped you out then.
I had narrowed it down to 2, so I'm going to take...
The other one.
I'm going to take the last...
Oh!
It's The Tomorrow War. Now, good fucking god, this film was so dull.
It was about fighting a war in the future. It a bit time travel-y. You got to be careful with time travel because time travel makes my brain hurt. So you've got to do it in the way where you don't think about it too much, or in a way that's so stupid it doesn't matter. But this one, it just made you think enough to go, what the heck?
That wouldn't work. That doesn't make sense. What are you doing? And there was... I think halfway through the film, we posited the theory that there would be like a time travel betrayal of sorts. Like the future world would be betraying the past world in something. And we were giving this film far much more credit than it deserved.
It wasn't like that.
Because it never paid off in any sort of way.
All I can say about the future sections.
Yes.
and I wrote a note about this, is that it was like a high-budget Starship Trooper, but terrible.
Where would you put the Tomorrow War, Lottie?
See, I'm torn because I think it is a D tier, but the action scenes, when there were action scenes, were quite entertaining, if a bit stupid. So I think for me, I can't decide whether it should go into D or C, but I think I'll keep it in D at the moment, and depending on my other choices, it may go up or down.
Okay.
I guess the main reason I'm going to put it in D for now is that I will never watch it again in my life.
Yes, you do find a kind of feel with some of these films that you're just like, right, that was fun, never again. So we have our favourites, we have our least favourites.
Yeah.
Shall we tackle the franchises next? There's not many on this list.
Because we just done a bad one, I think maybe we should do the Independence Days next.
Oh, the Independence Days. Right. The original 1990, I want to say 1997. I might be wrong on that, and future Fred can correct me if I am.
I'm not going to guess.
You know, you have a you could look it up on IMDb and school me right now, you know.
I'm not going to look.
Please, and I could do that as well, but I'm not going to look either.
The future Fred problem, not a present Lottie one.
Oh, right. What is Independence Day for you?
Independence Day is an A film.
An A film.
A film.
She's actually being democratic with this. I like it.
I was making notes and it brought some things to light. Like, I did enjoy it. The president was not very presidential, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. He goes and sacrifices himself instead of leading his country afterwards.
Oh, I mean, he flies out into the battle, doesn't he?
He doesn't die, but he could have done. He's supposed to be protecting himself so he can protect others later. It's just not very good of him. But that's not the reason I put it as an A. The reason I put it as an A is I can't remember all the characters.
I mean, I do enjoy it, and I have watched it multiple times. However, I'm going to go and put it down in the B category. I know, right? I'm being controversial.
Why is it B for you?
Just because if I have a bunch of these films in front of me, I don't think I actively go out of my way to watch Independence Day. I mean, yes, you'd have to give me... Even if you put it in, like, the category of disaster movies, which it mostly is, I don't go out of my way to watch Independence Day. I mean, yeah, I'll watch it again, but I don't know, there's gonna have to really be nothing else on. Which makes me...
That's the case for all of these films, right?
No, it's not, actually. Some of these films we do promise, unlike, you know, as well as the Final Destination films, are actually good, and we would definitely recommend them to people.
Oh, yeah.
But some of them...
But they are also bad action films.
Yes, this is true, yeah.
Every single one of them.
Right, so as we're talking about Independence Day Resurgence. Do you remember anything about this, Lottie?
Yeah, it was exactly the same, but somehow worse.
It was bigger, and it was worser.
I'm going to put it as a C.
Ooh, actually, that was exactly where I was going to put it, so yeah.
I enjoyed seeing what happened to the characters.
I do like the fact that they actually made that time. They actually, like, wrote it so that 20 years had actually passed, you know? Like, it wasn't just, like, a direct sequel, like, 2 years after the original.
Well, they could, because all the actors had aged 20 years.
I don't know, they've got that digital... You know.
I don't think they'd have wasted that on Independence Day.
Actually, you know what? You're probably right. We're going to go for Hitman.
I knew you were going to say that.
So the first one is Timothy Olyphant as Agent 47.
Yes.
And it sucks.
It's not great.
Like,
but I kind of liked it.
Yeah. It is a very dumb action film, probably elevated slightly by one of the most pointless and ludicrous set pieces. It's not even a set piece, it's just an event.
You had to pause it because you were crying from laughter.
I was.
I thought you were hyperventilating and were going to die.
So near the end of the film, he hides out in a church and he gets to the top, the bell tower, or, curved dome bit of this cathedral. There's a guy in there and they have a conversation, and there's like military and people outside who know he's in there and know he's going to do something. The military guy outside sends an attack helicopter in. So this attack helicopter shows up, it just arrives, guns down a historical building, and then fucks off. For seemingly no reason.
He killed the poor old cardinal or whoever he was.
Yeah, he doesn't
which
kill.
Saved Agent 47 a job.
Yeah, but
and
it's...
he didn't check to see if they killed Agent 47, which, spoiler alert, they had not. And then they just pieced out.
But I'm going to put it at C anyway, because like it would be a D, but for that helicopter bit.
Interestingly enough, I would have given it a C had it not been for that helicopter. That made it a B for me because that made that film so much more enjoyable.
And the second film in that franchise, Agent 47, Hitman Agent 47.
It's a better film.
Yeah, it's
First half is a better film. It starts off a bit oh gosh, what's that film called with Sarah Connor?
Terminator.
It starts with a bit Terminator-y.
Yeah.
Where he is hunting down this girl. And if they had stuck with that all the way through, it would have probably been A or possibly even S tier. But
yeah,
they made it, they couldn't keep him the villain because I guess in his heart of hearts he's not a villain.
The actor Rupert Fiend, I believe his name is, in Agent 47
very good.
Was
much
spot on.
His
voice, especially in like the
when
first half.
When he started speaking, I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's him!"
Yeah,
with Timothy, I was like, "Who's the strange bald man in a suit?"
Why is Timothy Oliphant in a bald wig? I'm not sure. But yeah, he's incredibly good, and in the first half of the film, like you said, he is like a Terminator. He is like a force to be reckoned with, and he's creepy as hell.
Yes, he is.
But
then they had to switch it around so he's not so... Well, he's still creepy.
They have to humanize him a little bit, and therefore...
They had to make him, a figure of good, rather than a figure of, he's going to kill me in my sleep.
Exactly, yes. So where's this going for you?
I think it's a high B for me.
A high B?
That first half had me actually gripping the sofa, thinking, oh no, what's going to happen next? I was going to pick the best franchise.
What is the best franchise there, Lottie?
Well, of course, it's Blade.
Blade! We do love Blade. Love us a bit of Blade.
Oh, I think that was probably one of the first ones we saw.
Yeah,
I'd never seen Blade before, and I've got to say, I love Blade.
Yeah, we do love... The first one is a bona fide classic. I
think the first one might actually have to be an S.
Yeah, I mean, it was gonna be for me as well.
Can you say the line, my favourite line in the film for me, please?
It is the immortal line when Blade finally defeats the evil Stephen Dorff at the end of the film. He just says,
"Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill."
It totally got me, because it's just not something you'd expect anyone to say, let alone in an action film. And I also liked the leading lady. They did together, which is very unusual, but I liked it.
Well, she was... We very quickly, because I didn't remember this from when I'd last seen Blade, but we quickly cottoned on that in the terms of leading ladies in action films, she is incredibly competent.
Very competent. She doesn't panic.
Yeah. She
doesn't need to be rescued. She kind of just rescues herself, and Blade is just like, oh, okay, bye then.
Yeah, okay, well, I guess she's doing that.
She's very... If the film was about her, I mean, obviously it wouldn't be as good because they wouldn't have the ice skating line, but I'd still enjoy it.
Well, they could work it into that. I'm sure that sounds like something she'd say as well, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. I think she could probably, as long as she did it with sunglasses on, that's the sort of line you have to say with sunglasses on.
It is kind of a crime as well that they do not bring her back for the sequels.
That's probably why the sequels aren't S tier, I'd say.
Yeah, but then we get to Blade 2.
Blade 2, which Fred is going to remind me about right now.
It's really... Well, weirdly enough, it's directed by Guillermo del Toro.
Oh my.
I know, right? You wouldn't think it because it sucks, and del Toro doesn't usually suck. It's got Ron Perlman in it. It's got the cat from Red Dwarf in it.
I liked him.
Yeah. You know what? That's it. It's a sort of Resident Evil cross vampire thing. It's the vampires who have the weird split jaw. They're kind of mutated vampires for some reason. I can't actually remember why, because the film is boring.
The fact
and they've got the jaw that splits open at the bottom. And they are just weird, pale, creepy Nosferatu-looking motherfuckers. And
I remember liking it.
Maybe we didn't. Maybe it was just a kind of flash in the pan fun, but we really can't remember anything about this.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to put it as a C tier if I can't remember it.
It's going.
That's as high as it can go for films I don't remember.
It's going in the C tier, people.
If it's forgettable, then oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. Do you know what this means?
I don't know. What does this mean?
It means Blade 3 might be higher than Blade 2.
Oh, that is a damning indictment. Well, I am going to put Blade 2 in C tier as well, because yes, whilst we must have had some level of fun with it.
I did. It wasn't as good as the first one. I don't remember it as well as the first one. I don't think it was a bad film, but I cannot tell you what happened.
I remember, and to be fair, I do remember a lot more of Blade 3.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I liked it more.
You told me that Blade 3 was going to be bad. But I liked it.
Oh God, Lottie.
I liked it enough to give it a B.
Ooh, damn! What is going on with the world here?
I forgot it was called Blade Trinity. I think the only thing I was sad about is that Buddy died.
Buddy?
Yeah, Buddy was the guy that I called because I forgot his name every time.
Oh, what, Chris Christopherson?
Yes.
Really? They killed him? They didn't kill him off in Blade 2? Oh no, because
he died in every film, but he stayed dead in Blade 3.
Ah, yes, of course they killed him off. Yeah, I forget. Because they do kill him in Blade 1 and then they weirdly bring him back in Blade 2 with like no reason. Blade 3 is going in the trash for D for me. I just can't, Lottie. I just can't.
Well, we'll agree to disagree on that one.
We will. We'll disagree on a few more things, I'm sure. Since you have gone through in the classic Blade trilogy, we're going to go to... It's a franchise, kind of. It's the Pierce Brosnan Bond films. Now, I don't know why we settled on Pierce Brosnan Bond films and not just Bond films in general.
Because we were sticking to the 90s kind of era, weren't we?
Yeah.
Any further back, it might not have been so ridiculous.
Yeah. But, crucially, we did not watch Goldeneye.
Because we thought it would be too good.
Yeah.
Although, thinking about it, maybe we should have watched it, so we have more. You have more for your S tier.
Because we were like, oh, but Goldeneye's a good film, and we're kind of not doing that at the moment. So, yeah.
Maybe we should go back and watch Goldeneye. I feel bad now.
Maybe
it
should.
was bad. We don't remember.
Yeah. Well, Pierce Brosnan obviously only made 4 films as James Bond. He made Goldeneye, which was his big break, and it was apparently a great film, but we might be remembering it wrong. He then made Tomorrow Never Dies, The World Is Not Enough, and Die Another Day. And Lottie can't tell the difference between all 3 of them.
Can you just give me the brief synopsis of the one that you just said first?
That tells you all you need to know, really, guys.
Again, I can't quite remember which is which, so I can't comment quite yet. Do one of them first. Do the first one first. Do your side, and then I might remember what I thought of it.
Oh my god. Well, obviously Die Another Day is going to be the one we talk about. You know what Die Another Day is because you miss-sing the theme song every single time.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have the voice of an angel and a perfect tune.
Yeah, you don't have... You misremember the rhythm. It's got Madonna's Die Another Day as the theme song.
Yes, which I can sing perfectly, but I just choose not to at this
point. Just to do it at this point. Simply for the fact that it is the one I remember more, I'm going to put it up in a C tier.
The one where it starts in Korea and then ends in an ice palace.
It doesn't even end in an ice palace, Lottie.
It doesn't?
No, the ice palace is like the midpoint of the movie. It ends in a plane getting destroyed by a solar ray.
I don't remember that, but I think that I like that. That's the one with Rick Yoon in it.
It is the one with Rick Yoon.
I love his hair.
Yes, you immediately, at the start of the film, fell in love with the gorgeous face and hair of Rick Yoon.
I certainly did.
And then you were immediately heartbroken when they decided to make him a bald man with diamonds in his face.
I could have lived with the diamonds, but his hair! It was so beautiful.
His hair was incredibly luscious, I'm not going to lie.
He could have sold so much shampoo.
You realise we're not saying anything about the actual film because...
Yes. The film was fine. I would have cut about an hour of it.
It does also have the...
But I do remember it, so it can go higher than a C if I remember it.
You do... it can go higher than a C if you remember it. I love your criteria.
I remember it, that it is a worthy film.
I want to point out two things about Die Another Day. One, the surfboard scene, which has some of the worst CGI that has ever been committed to film.
No, it was brilliant. They were really there.
And two, do you remember...
The more you say about Die Another Day, the more I like it. It's going to have to be a B.
Fair enough. I will hold it against you forever, but I will respect your opinion.
Well, Fred, I think you should just die.
Another day? That's fine. I'll do that. The only other thing I remember about Die Another Day that we didn't pause the film laughing, but we did have one of those what the fuck moments, was Bond is breaking into the Ice Palace, or the research labs attached to the Ice Palace. He stops doing that to go and have sex with Rosamund Pike.
As we all do.
In the meantime, Halle Berry gets captured, and then immediately after having sex with Rosamund Pike, he then goes back and breaks in and saves Halle Berry.
Yeah, I don't understand why he stopped. I'm sure Rosamund Pike could have waited. I'm sure there was a reason.
But it's literally... But it is literally like he stops his mission. Mid-mission, he's literally breaking into the building, and then he just goes back to the Ice Palace and has sex with her, and then comes back immediately. Like, it's not even like taking a beat.
He has a quota, Fred.
It's so bizarre. It's such a weird, like, handbrake turn in the script, and you're like, hang on, wait, what are we doing?
Do you think they thought, oh shoot, we made a film and we've accidentally not shot the scene where he sleeps with Rosamund Pike? Quick, put it in here, it'll be fine.
Yeah, we've shot an hour and a half, like almost an hour of this film, and he hasn't had sex with anyone yet.
That's not good enough. Quick.
It's, yeah. Right, so I can't remember which of these films is which. Tomorrow Never Dies, I think, is the one with the newspaper guy. Yeah, so that's annoying because I can't even remember the actor's name.
Mr. Newspaper.
It's annoying. So that's the one with Denise Richards, though, isn't it?
No.
Tomorrow Never Dies. No, you're right.
It has what's her name in it?
Michelle Yeoh.
Yes.
That is it. Oh, I'm sorry, Michelle, wherever you are. I forgot.
Okay, she's just hugging her Oscar at the moment. She's fine.
Right, so Tomorrow Never Dies is the newspaper one with Michelle Yeoh. Where's that going for you, Lottie?
That is it's a low C, but it's a C.
It's a low C.
Michelle Yeoh saved the day.
I guess, yeah, it's going the same place as Die Another Day, yeah.
the other one, the one that isn't Die Another Day or Tomorrow Never Dies.
It has.
It's got another death in it.
It has Christmas Jones.
Christmas Jones, but I thought the villains of the piece were the best of all three films.
It's Robert Carlyle, isn't it?
Carlyle and the other lady with no ear. I quite like that one. I thought because the fun of the Bond films, it's mostly the villain.
Yes.
I had a lot of fun with those guys, and I wasn't so upset about Rick Hume. So I think that might be another B for me.
Okay, we're going into the B territory for The World Is Not Enough. For me, I've got to be honest. Aside from it having Robert Carlyle in it and Denise Richards, etc., etc., I literally cannot remember a single action sequence or plot point from that movie. I can't even remember the bad guy's motivation. What he's trying to do.
He was in love with her, and she wanted to. She was part of a terrorist organisation against a pipeline. I think I remember this film a lot more than you.
You do. It's going into D because I literally just can't remember a damn thing about it.
That's fair enough. If you can't remember it, it can't go higher than a C.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
That's the rules.
I'm not saying that Die Another Day or Tomorrow Never Dies are good films, because they're not.
But they're memorable.
The next franchise, the only other franchise we have left, we have saved the best for last, Lottie.
I feel like it doesn't quite belong
in this list.
In this list.
It's the John Wick franchise. So we actually watched this quite quickly compared to how we usually watch a lot of franchises. Because...
yes. I mean, we had both... I think we'd both seen the first one before.
Yes.
But I had not seen any of the others.
No. So we watched the first two on Prime because they were going off of Prime in a week. So we had to watch those very quickly. And then...
we watched the third on Prime as well.
Yeah. But then we were just like, the fourth film comes out in cinemas in a week. Shall we just go and see it?
And the answer was, of course, yes.
Yeah, the answer was a resounding yes.
Forking out money for this film.
Yeah.
That's how good it was.
Yeah. I mean, again, you're right. It doesn't quite belong on this list because...
no, I would not have paid money for any of these others apart from making Final Destination.
Right. Where do you put all four of these in S tier? I feel like you do.
Well, this might surprise you.
But you don't?
I think 1, 2, and 4 belong in S tier, but 3's only an A.
Oh. Now, okay. I am surprised that 4 makes it into S tier because...
I had such a fun time at the cinema, I think. Watching it with all those other people and hearing the action made it an S tier film for me.
Yeah. I think that does elevate it a little bit. 4 is definitely bigger, grander.
Bells and whistles.
Yeah, it is for sure. If you're going to be negative about it, it is bloated.
It's very long.
It is bloated in a sort of grand finale sort of way, where everyone involved in the production of it is just like, right, we're going to make this the most obscenely epic and kind of Last Night at the Opera sort of epic show. Wouldn't you agree? That sounds about like...
yes, it's like any big idea that was left over from the other films, they put in this film.
Yeah. I am going to agree with you on John Wick 3, though, because, weirdly enough, it was our favourite opener of any John Wick.
It had such a good opener. That knife fight.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I'd say probably our top moment from the John Wick films is that knife fight at the start of 3.
Oh my gosh, that was so good. I could watch that over on a loop forever.
Yeah, but the problem with John Wick 3 is that it doesn't live up to that fight. It's good. It's very good film.
I think they peaked too early.
Yeah, but that fight, it's only It's not even like in the first 20 minutes. It's in like the first 15 or something, isn't it? It's very early on.
So good though.
But
if they had that at the end, maybe it would have been S tier.
Yeah, I think just for kicking it off, and it is still like wonderfully brutal. John Wick,
Mr. Baba Yaga himself.
Mr. Baba Yaga, and the first film.
I don't like that nickname because I used to play a lot of Sierra games, and Baba Yaga was a villain of one of them. And she was an old witch who lived in a hut with chicken legs.
Yep.
Just doesn't fit John Wick.
Yeah.
What? John Wick 2's there?
John Wick 2 goes down into A simply because
But he has to get his car back.
Yeah, it's good, but again, I don't think it quite... It's the difficult second album kind of syndrome. It doesn't quite live up to the hype of it. Like, the bookends of it, 1 and 4, are like...
They're very good.
Also 4, yeah, they're very good. 4 does start out with that amazing monologue from... it's not even a monologue, it's just insane ramblings from Larry Fishburne.
Yes, Martin Fishboy.
I can't believe... Right, well that is actually all our franchises. So, I don't know, do you want to go through the rest of this just film by film and we'll just kind of knock them out, as it were?
I think that's a good idea.
So starting from the top, and then we'll just walk our way down to the most recent thing we've seen. So we're starting with Small Soldiers. Yeah! Again, both of us didn't really remember this film.
No! In fact, I have memories of this film. It did not match it on a rewatch.
Yeah, I have even fewer memories than you watching this film. I really didn't remember much of it at all, despite it being from like Joe Dante, who is director of like the Gremlins film. And Gremlins,
you could tell it was directed by the same guy as the Gremlins film.
And also one of my guilty pleasures, which is Looney Tunes Back in Action.
I've not seen it.
Yeah, it's good. It's got Brendan Fraser, and it's a Looney Tunes film.
Fraser. I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, it is alarmingly good. It shouldn't be, but it is alarmingly good.
It's an action film. Should we add it onto the list?
I would say it's more of a comedy, like not maybe comedy action. We might add it to the list anyway.
It's called Back in Action. I feel like that's
criteria met, you know.
There we go.
Right, where are you putting Small Soldiers?
For me, it's an A film.
Yep.
It's a solid A. It was so weird, but I really like weird plots.
Yeah, it is also...
Well, kind of scary.
Yeah, I was going to say, it does... Like, it's...
But the voice acting was superb.
It's weirdly suitable for kids and then kind of not at the same time.
I watched it when I was probably about 12, and I don't remember being scared, but I think I was more scared the second time I watched it.
Yeah. It was, again, when it came onto Netflix, we were just like, oh yeah, we should put that on the list, and we just did not remember anything about it, because it was like watching it for the first time, and I'm glad I did, yeah. It is a very good film.
But I really enjoyed it. I feel like it's a lost classic that we have discovered.
Yes, we discovered it, yeah.
You and I have rediscovered this lost classic.
Next up is obviously one of the best films of all time. It's Con Air.
Oh, I loved this film.
Con Air.
I love this film more than it should have been loved.
Yeah.
But it has some weird flaws.
Well, yes, Steve Buscemi's character that just kind of gets left in the desert, despite him being Hannibal Lecter light.
Well, that's the thing. They build up Steve Buscemi's character to be this awful guy that the scaredest of the scary criminals are terrified of him, and then he does absolutely nothing throughout the entire film.
And he also has this like weird like retreat where he befriends a little girl who might not be there.
He's going to murder her.
Yeah, I also think it might just be her hallucination or something, because it's weirdly like no one else seems to acknowledge it at all.
It's just I felt like they missed a step. He could have done something cool, but instead he did nothing.
The whole film culminates though with that amazing action set piece.
Landing on the Vegas Strip.
Yeah, landing a plane on the Vegas Strip.
That was amazing.
Because I remember when we were watching it, I kind of halfway through was just like, isn't this the film where they do... And I trailed off. And then as it happened, I was like, yes, it is!
So good. I don't even know why they decided to land there, but probably because there was something terrible happening on the plane. They were like, we've got to land, man! But they did it, and it was great. And it's an A film for me. Would watch again.
Yep. I am probably gonna...
It could have been higher had it not been for Steve Buscemi's character.
Yeah.
John Malkovich, also fantastic villain. Always a fantastic.
Oh, yes. John Malkovich. I keep, always sometimes... Oh, and don't forget our favourite baby boy, John Cusack, in his little linen suit.
In his linen suit. Who put him in that? You only have to look at linen for it to crease. It didn't even last the opening sequence, and he was just walking around. Terrible wardrobe choice for. Otherwise, he was great.
Yeah.
But never ever wear a linen suit unless you're playing cricket.
Right, Lottie, I fear we must address Planet of the Apes 2001.
Oh.
The Tim Burton remake.
The only one I've ever seen.
I keep forgetting that. I keep forgetting that this is the only Planet of the Apes that you've ever seen. And that's not okay, because...
I saw the musical from The Simpsons.
It doesn't count, actually. Our favourite bit of the film has to be the ending.
That ending was probably one of the best S-tier events ever.
Yeah.
When he lands, and he thinks he's back on Earth, and then he runs up the steps on that monument in Washington where Abraham Lincoln is, and it's just Abraham Lincoln as an ape.
Yep.
Oh, I died.
It's
died.
Like, I don't know why.
I think I was clapping at one point.
Yeah, you were very, very happy. And the thing is, I had seen it before, so I knew it was coming.
I thought, oh, thank goodness this film is starting to get good. And then it ended, and I was like, what?
So I'd seen it, and I knew that was coming. And it was just not.
There was no sequel.
There was never a sequel.
No.
Look, I'm gonna level with you. It's going down there for me. It's going down in the D tier for me. I'm not.
For me, the last 5 minutes of that was an S tier, but the rest of the film was a D. So I'm gonna give it a C.
Okay.
Just because of that last 5 minutes redeemed it so much. Oh, it was like when in episode 3 of Star Wars when Darth Vader said no, and I nearly died laughing. It was that good.
Oh, that's a way to piss off a lot of people right there. Yeah.
Come on, everybody laughed in the cinema. It wasn't just me.
I mean, yeah, it is a stupid bit. Again.
But it was a very boring film where the choices the characters made during the film were bad. They were like, how are we going to get through this enemy camp of apes? I know, we'll ride a horse through the middle of the camp to the other side. They'll never spot us.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the worst bits of it, where they're just like, oh, okay, we've got to be careful. If we get caught by these guys, we're just going to get sent straight back into the slave trade, or, you know, all that sort of stuff, or we're just going to be killed. How do we do this? Just run through.
And it kept doing that, even at the beginning when they were escaping. They run right through people's houses.
Oh,
they didn't need to go around or over or under. No, straight through.
Tim Roth probably gives the most, skin-crawlingly creepy performance of his career.
He was probably the best of them.
But man, you did not like watching him.
Insane.
You did not like watching him, though.
I didn't. He was so good. He freaked me out.
Yeah. Broken Arrow.
Yes.
Another.
I remember you telling me about this film.
Mm-hmm.
We started watching it, and I instantly forgot that you told me John Travolta was the villain. And I got very confused when he started acting like the villain, because I thought he was the hero. And then you had to remind me again that John Travolta was not the hero. You'd already told me he was the villain, and I read the blurb.
It's because we watched it. I mean, we watched it loads, like a long time after Face Off. But I said to you, like, he doesn't get to play the villain very often, but the other film where he does is Broken Arrow, which is another John Woo.
For that either.
Yeah, and like I specifically told you this, and I was just like, oh, and that's why we put it on the list, because it was John Travolta playing a bad guy, and he's like really funny as the bad guy.
One other note I wrote, I put down for this film is that they probably all should have died of radiation poisoning.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh yes, because they detonate one underground, don't they?
They detonate one in a well, and I was like, I don't think those rocks would stop the radiation. I'm not an expert, but I think it could probably leak through that, and it was attached to a lake, which is probably being poisoned now.
Yeah.
They escaped through that lake. Those fish are dead.
Oh yeah, I mean that area is like the wildlife is going to have like 2 heads, 6 eyes. You know.
Yeah.
That is irreparably damaged. You know, I don't know. What's your ranking of Broken Arrow, Lottie?
You see, it was fun. It was fun, even if it was stupid. So I think I'm going to put it as a B.
A B. Fun but stupid B tier stuff.
No, wait. Maybe it was an A.
What are we doing, Lottie? Are you second guessing yourself here? What are we doing?
It's an A. I'm sorry, I've changed my mind.
Well, for me, it's an A tier as well.
Yeah.
Because obviously,
I was just looking at what else I put for B, and I was like, it's not a B, it's an A.
It's not a B. Yeah, you put Broken Arrow as the same place as The World Is Not Enough. I think. Yeah.
It's an A. Who am I kidding?
Yeah. Oh man, I do love how weird, like how similar and how different these lists are turning out to be.
I'm beginning to think it doesn't take a lot to make me happy.
Speaking of, 2012.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved this film.
It's
Rafts in a helicopter, driving off a plane. One of the best end of the world films. 2012.
Exactly. Little Babby John Cusack again. I mean, I'm going to just spoil it for you right away, and I'm just going to put it in the B category because it is fine.
No, it's A. It's an A, Fred.
No, not for me. Not for me.
It's a solid A.
A solid A.
I would watch that so many times. I still remember the scene where you see the giraffes and the elephants in helicopters being lifted by helicopters, just happily floating along.
Not freaking out in any way, like they absolutely would do.
They didn't have a heart attack mid-flight.
Yeah.
They were fine.
Lack of oxygen? Who has that?
It's only the Arctic. I'm sure they weren't cold. It pulled out all the stops, and it's just scene after scene after scene of goodness.
Moving on to more disaster movie fare, we have Moonfall.
Moonfall. For me,
Moonfall.
I didn't like Moonfall. I think the characters weren't very good. Bad characters with a bad plot. I mean, I spent the whole half of the film thinking that Halle Berry had a wife, and it turns out it was just her babysitter.
It was kind of just her babysitter, yeah.
They didn't. I mean, the fact that I could mistake it for that means that they did not, introduce that relationship very well. I did not realise that she was the live-in help. I thought they were married.
I mean, look, there's every possibility that they still were married or something, and it was just a really shittily written, like, it was just a really, like, shittily written, like, gay couple, like, it was...
I thought it was just an average domestic, that the focus probably won't be on this couple, and one of them will die, but...
No,
it didn't happen.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. It's a C.
Oh,
it's a C for me because of the aforementioned, like, terrible writing and characters that you don't really know where they are, and also I can't remember a single set piece.
There was the moon.
Yeah, the moon was involved, but
and
I can't remember.
Train.
Was there a train, Lottie?
It might have fallen on them. It's a D for me, Fred.
It's a D? Ooh.
It's a D. I told you, if I can't remember it that well, it can't be higher than the C, and I would never watch that film again.
Oh.
No.
No. Yep. Well,
No.
I feel like I've already given the D tier like enough food for now, so something's going to have to be really special to go into the D tier.
Surprised that you like that film enough to give it a C.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, it is...
The ending was horrible. He was supposed to die and he lived. You can't not kill off the person who's supposed to die.
Oh, isn't that with, like, is that alien artificial intelligence or something like that, isn't there?
I don't remember.
Anyway.
He lives on the moon now. He's a moon man.
He's a moon man. Anyway, moving on to the one we reminisce about quite a lot, Jumper.
Oh, Jumper.
Jumper.
I'd forgotten what his superpower was.
He can teleport.
He teleports.
He teleports to a place if he can remember it or if he can see it. Like, he has to picture it in his mind. It doesn't necessarily state if he has to have been there before, but
there has to be some sort of realistic photo.
Yeah, but he can just teleport to wherever he wants, and Samuel L. Jackson is the guy in charge of basically making sure he doesn't do that and killing him because of it.
You're not allowed to jump. You have to have a license first, and he was doing it unlicensed. And also, I think he was doing it to steal.
Oh yes, he definitely did a bunch of bank robbery.
He wasn't a good guy.
No. He also tries to get back with his high school sweetheart, who wasn't really
seen since college.
Yeah. To do that, he teams up with another. I'm getting to our favourite bit because he teams up with another Jumper.
Yes.
Who I can't remember the actor who plays him, but it doesn't matter.
Other Jumper.
The high school sweetheart jumps on a plane and flies to Tokyo, where they currently are. This takes her 8 hours or so, whatever.
And he comes to this other Jumper saying, I have got 8 hours to fix this or they're going to kill my girlfriend as soon as she lands. And I thought, oh great, the rest of the film will be her in the sky and them trying to fix it before she lands. That was my initial thought. That makes sense, doesn't it?
It does.
But what happened, Fred?
They drive around Tokyo for 8 hours, and the literal next scene is them going, oh shit, she's about to land. Let's get to the airport.
Pull the car over. Because they're running away from these guys who are chasing them. Then the plane lands and they pull over saying, I think we've lost them. So it took them 8 hours. It took them 8 hours driving around Tokyo. It was so stupid. I think I pointed that out to you.
Oh yeah, it like I don't think I even realised it, and you had to point it out. I was like, oh no. What's your rating for this one though?
That's a D. The female character didn't even have a purpose. I was fully expecting her to stay in a plane for 8 hours.
That's a D. I like how angry you immediately got at it as well.
What the heck?
Yep.
8 hours around Tokyo. That's some lazy writing right there, Fred.
Yeah, it's a D for me as well.
Oh, bad film.
Oh, wow. I don't think I've heard you get so angry at a film like...
I was expecting so much from it. It had Samuel L. Jackson in it. It was about teleportation, and then they did that. Yeah. Actually, Samuel L. Jackson was quite good.
Well, yeah, but he's good in every
film. Yeah. Because he wasn't in that car for 8 hours. Maybe if he was, it would have been better.
Right, moving on. Battleship.
I'm going to tell you something about Battleship that I didn't tell you at the time. You know, at the end, where they're bringing this old battleship back into fighting the aliens.
Yeah.
The old decommissioned ship, they're commissioning it again.
Yeah.
And they have to get these old, sort of retired seamen.
Yes.
Don't laugh at that.
No.
I mean that sincerely. to out of retirement to fight these aliens for Hawaii.
Indeed.
And when they were doing that, I got a little bit teary-eyed.
Oh, you were like, oh.
It got me. I was like, oh my gosh, they're coming out and they know the ship so well and they want to save their friends. And I got a little bit teary. Other than that, I don't know how to play Battleship, so it's a C.
Oh my god, that's the best review of Battleship I've ever heard. Yeah, I think I'm going to put it at a C as well, because, like, I don't remember much more about it. Air Force One.
That crash, though.
That crash, though.
No crash. That is what I've literally written in front of me. That crash, though.
That crash, though. Yeah.
That
For those who don't know, it contains
people
possibly
crash.
one of the worst instances of CGI in a movie ever. A big blockbuster movie.
They spent all their money on Harrison Ford. They did not have enough left for the CGI.
I haven't read up enough on it to know what actually happened with that shot because it is
telling you, they spent all their money on Harrison Ford.
Yeah, but it's such a terrible shot. It has
Maybe they got Nintendo to do it.
It has no business being that bad.
They could have just built a model and it would have been better.
Yeah. It's the rest of the film is quite good though. Weirdly enough, the rest of the film is quite good.
The film is good. One thing I will say is that there are a lot of places to hide in a plane.
Well, probably not a normal plane, but when you're Air Force One, it's probably decked out a little differently than most planes.
It has an escape capsule.
Yeah.
But he did not get in, silly man.
Yeah. Well, he's Harrison Ford. He can do whatever he wants.
Did he have a daughter as well?
Yes.
Were we trying to guess if she was either 20 or 12?
We were. Yes, because she really didn't seem to have Yeah, there wasn't an easily pin-downable age for her. Like the kid from Final Destination 2.
She had a baby face, but she was as tall as an adult, so we couldn't quite tell what age she was supposed to be.
Where's it going for you, Lottie?
Still not sure. This one it's B for me, because it was a lot of fun. But that crash, though.
That crash, though. It's the same for me, actually. The core. The core is...
It's surprisingly full of heart.
Look, Lottie,
but
you can see my screen at the moment, and it's going up there for me. Look, ordinarily, obviously, it's a terrible premise. It has some bonkers action choices, and the science is wildly iffy. But... like you said, it is surprisingly emotional. It's got some good characters in it. And it is just daft enough to be, big grin on your face, cheesy action fun.
Yeah, I mean, my notes for this film is that it's surprisingly full of heart, but also the right amount of stupid. And I learnt a lot about the Mariana Trench.
Despite the fact that they only encounter the Mariana Trench because they have to plough through it. They basically just have to punch through it to get to the inner core.
It was a very bad decision to use the sea as a place for it to go, because they had to be very straight in order to go down.
Yeah.
I thought the sea was a bad choice to go for, but
yes,
Fred
apparently
explained to me that it was closer to the core if they did that.
Apparently currents don't exist in the world of the core because
they went right down to the bottom of it as well.
Yeah, they managed to aim that shit perfectly because they didn't get affected by any underwater currents at all. It was weird. It's a great film though.
I really like this film, but it's just an A for me.
Ah, Lottie.
I'm sorry.
Our friendship will survive, but what the hell? Gone in 60 Seconds, a film we had both never seen prior to us watching it.
No, we watched it. We got very confused over the presence of one cocaine car found in sort of middle of Act 2.
Yeah.
We thought was going to come back in a way to frame someone.
Wasn't there that corrupt cop that kept chasing them down?
Yeah, we thought this is great. They found this car full of cocaine. They can use it to frame this dirty cop or one of the other bad guys.
Yeah, because they even have a whole set piece where the cop finds their hideout, comes in and questions them, but he does it in the leering, intimidating sort of way.
And he starts touching the car as in if to put his fingerprints all over it.
Yeah. And
does he like the car? And I was like, this is going somewhere, this cocaine car.
And then they just don't bring it back. The cocaine car just appears and disappears.
They decided that they better put it back because it probably belongs to the mafia and they didn't want to get mixed up in that sort of stuff. And then it just never comes back again. The mafia don't come back. I guess they didn't notice their cocaine car was gone for about 3 hours.
Hey, Jimmy, have you seen our car full of cocaine? No, Tommy.
It's like, it's not where I parked it, and then suddenly, oh no, it's fine, it's there again.
Oh, it reappeared again. Don't worry, the cocaine's okay. Anyway, where are you putting it?
It's a C.
It's a C.
It was fun, but it was also pretty. It's not the right amount of stupid.
Yeah, I can't remember that much about it, to be honest. Apart from Cocaine Car, so yeah, it's going in C for me as well.
Probably made it a C for me. If it didn't have Cocaine Car, it might have even been a D.
Right, Dragonheart.
Dragonheart. Fred, I've changed my mind. Can you put Gone in 60 Seconds as a B?
That was a very quick...
I just remembered how much I laughed at Cocaine Car the first time we saw it, and I thought, it can't possibly be a C. That made me laugh.
There you
going
go.
Up there with Hitman.
It's up
that
there.
Also made me laugh.
Oh my god, the helicopter. We love the helicopter.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dragonheart.
Dragonheart. Sean Connery is a dragon.
He is.
The dragon teams up with a human, and then together they are con artists. And you don't really see many dragons in a con film.
Oh, that is it. Now, they are con artists for like a large portion of the film, aren't they?
Yes. I don't think that's supposed to be, but it just takes up a lot of screen time.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I don't remember a lot else about it, so unfortunately...
I remember some of the fire scenes made me laugh.
Because fire's not meant to behave that way.
Put it in a C.
For me, it's a C.
I don't remember enough about it. There were no scenes there was no cocaine car, there was no random helicopter that made me laugh.
Like a solidly decent film. I'm not.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't decent film. No.
Oh really?
But
you're just done with it.
You know what, Fred? Can you please move it to a D? I don't like it at all.
I mean, I don't remember it being bad. I remember us having a good time with it, but at the same time, I can't.
Having a good time.
Oh my god! Wow.
No, that's terrible. I didn't think I liked it at all.
No, this is what. I
didn't remember it, and then I remembered I didn't like it.
Oh well. Speaking of things we don't like, Super Mario Brothers, the '90s version.
Well, you don't like this film.
No, it's immediately I'm not even gonna discuss it. It's immediately going in the D tier.
You don't want to discuss the ending?
What's the ending?
The ending was a bit like Planet of the Apes.
Oh, where was it? Peach busts in.
Comes back. No, it was Daisy.
It's Daisy.
Calling her Peach. Daisy comes in. She's like, "You'll never guess what happened this time." She's decked up like a Ghostbuster with an axe and stuff. And I was like, "What happened?" But there was never a sequel.
There was never a sequel, yes.
Just like in Planet of the Apes.
Mm-hmm.
We also found out that their name are Mario and Luigi Mario.
Yeah. I see. It's just a bizarre film in terms of
It was very bizarre, but I don't remember being angry at it, so it can't be a D. It was ridiculous and it was fun, and I kind of enjoyed your reaction to it more than the film. It's
what did you say?
It's going up there with Blade 2, Fred.
Where's Blade 2? Oh, it's a C. Okay.
C.
I can't
hate this film as much as I think it should probably be hated.
I thought you were going for a B tier, and then we're gonna have some trouble.
That's a bit much.
We're gonna have issues here.
60 seconds, Fred.
Wanted is what we're looking at.
Can I say what I've written down about Wanted before anything else?
Of course.
I only put one note for this.
Yep.
I have no idea what this film is about. I have no memory of watching it.
Oh yes, I remember, because when we watched The Transporter a couple of days ago, I had to remind you of this, didn't I?
I've already forgotten what you reminded me about. What is it?
It's the film. It's James McAvoy and Angelina Jolie, and they can bend bullets.
Oh, with the magic loom.
With the magic loom of fate, yes.
See the future.
Yes, and apparently it's based off I want to say, graphic novel series. It's very dumb, and it's quite...
McAvoy's really mean in it.
It's quite boring, I remember, as well. Oh yeah, James McAvoy's a bit of a dick of a character, isn't he?
He is. He's really mean to his colleagues. He daydreams about killing them in the first 5 minutes, I think.
Yeah. For me, it's going into the C tier.
Well, it can't be higher than a C to me, as I forgot about it.
You did forget about it, yeah.
Was I angry when I was watching it?
I'm trying to think of any major set pieces or any major character development in it that would have made you angry, and I don't think I can think of one.
It's a C. I can't. I mean, it hasn't in my memory as a terrible film like the D tier. So it's got to go in C because, again, I'm probably going to forget I watched this in 5 minutes.
You're going to look at the list and go like, wait, what?
What was that?
Right, welcome to the jungle, Lottie.
Oh, that's a D.
What?
Do you want to read my? Do you want to hear my notes on this?
Oh, absolutely, I do. That was straight in at the D tier. Go for it.
The characters in this film were terrible. I think they were supposed to grow, but they didn't. The ending was so badly edited, I had no idea what was going on.
You know what? You make very, very valid points there, and it is going straight in the D tier for me as well. I was actually considering giving it a C because it had some sort of like comedic chops with The Rock and Sean William Scott when your bad guy is Christopher Walken and you can't make him do anything interesting.
He did nothing.
Yeah, I look, until we started talking about it, I kind of forgot how bad it was.
It was really bad. The editing, I couldn't. The only thing that I think I laughed at was when he Supermaned through some planks of wood. It's D.
It's a D, okay.
More like, no, thank you, I'd rather stay at home.
So, next film is Sucker Punch. Right. So, I'm going to let you in on a little secret here, Lottie. I had this in contention for the worst films that we'd seen because I really didn't like it when I first saw it.
We disagree a lot on this film.
We do.
We do. It's one of our big disagreements.
I am willing to watch it again at some point because I'm willing to try and give it another go and be like, you know what, maybe I was too harsh on this film. Maybe I just wasn't looking at it in the right way or something. And maybe because of how I saw it at the time, I might have been influenced by reviews or other public opinion on it, etc., etc.
I mean, I've written 2 notes on this one. One, that it's nice to see an all-female action scene. And my second note, it was pretty to look at, but it has no substance.
Ow, it's okay.
But I'm putting it as a B. I enjoyed this film.
You're going straight in at the B. I'm going to be generous to it and put it at C. Because I honestly cannot...
I'm hoping I convinced you to give it a little more grace.
No, see, I can't even remember the ending.
It was a bit sad, actually. It didn't make me tear up or anything. There's no Battleship.
There's no Battleship.
But it was a bit sad ending.
Yeah.
You know, They went through some stuff.
They did go through some stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Moving on. Godzilla.
Oh, the CGI did not age well.
It did not. The 90s Godzilla we're talking about. We're not talking about the more recent... we're talking about Matthew Broderick and Jean Reno.
One note I've made about this film is that I wasn't sure why they thought making Godzilla stealthy was the way to go.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely not.
Because he would appear, attack a building, and then they're like, quick, he's over there, let's go. And then they arrive and he'd be gone.
Yeah. And this is the lizard. This is a giant lizard the size of most skyscrapers in Manhattan. And they lose him way more often than is, you would think is possible.
They had to bait him with fish at one point, and they still didn't catch him.
They bait him with fish, twice in the movie. There are 2 separate set pieces that are...
It's a lot of fish.
That are set up with fish, yeah. I've put it as A tier because, good God, it's just so stupid and dumb and fun. It's like it's all the dumbest bits of Jurassic Park put into the city, and then
scene
with the egg scene.
It's so good. That is definitely. I mean, if the film was just about the eggs, I'd say it was S. But as it is, it's an A.
It's an A, yeah.
The suspense I felt when they were trying to find those eggs and killing them. I was like, oh! I don't think anyone died to the actual Godzilla, apart from the countless people that we didn't see in those buildings. But I don't think any characters actually died to the actual Godzilla. Or at least if they did, I have no memory of
Yeah,
it.
I'm now thinking, and I've seen that film far more times than I care to admit, and I don't think anyone actually dies to Big Zilla. No.
No.
Plenty of them
Baby
die to
Zilla's
Mini
a lot-
Zilla. But,
Yeah, they were scarier than Big Zilla.
yeah. Anyway, Looper. Now, this was one you recommended for the list.
I did. I watched it and I thought, President like this.
Yeah. Now, this, again, doesn't quite fit on our bad action
It's
movies
very
list.
much a John Wick of
Yeah.
what is this here?
You know what? I was so impressed by it. I'm putting it up at the very tippity top of the list. I'm putting it's getting
yeah.
an elusive S tier for me.
It's an S tier film.
Yeah.
It's a great film. The child actor, so on the nose.
I'm so glad you mentioned him as well.
He
Because,
can do cute and he can do terrifying.
yeah.
And
So-
you're never quite sure which one he is
Yeah.
till the end.
It
And
is.
the ending was very good.
Yeah, so you had seen it before. I had never seen Looper before.
I had seen it before,
The
but I don't want to spoil you.
Yeah, the prosthetic work they did on Joseph Gordon-Levitt to make him look like Bruce Willis was so convincing and
Yeah.
baffling. It really threw us the first, 20 minutes of the movie. We were just like, hang on, what, is it CG?
I mean, I didn't notice as much, but it.
Well, yeah, because I immediately clocked onto it and I was just like, it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt, but he's not.
Bruce Willisified.
Yeah, and it is actual physical prosthetic makeup they put on
do
him.
something to his jaw and his
Yeah.
eyes.
And he also studied a bunch of Bruce Willis films as well, because we're
You
reading
probably
trivia.
just watched Die Hard a load of times.
I mean, what else do you need to watch? What else do you need to watch? Die Hard is incredible.
Not watched Die Hard yet. We need to put that on the list.
Oh, yeah, we'll absolutely put Die Hard on. We'll just extend it to all action films is kind of what we've done.
Sure. Because I've only ever seen the first Die Hard.
Yeah, and there are 5 Die Hard films, Lottie.
That's 5?
There are 5 Die
There
Hard
were
films.
2.
No, there are 5.
Right, okay, well,
Okay, we'll add that to the list.
it'd be a big old list.
Yeah. Fast and the Furious.
Oh. It's a D for me.
Wow, okay.
I got so angry at this film. I think the problem was, because it's such a recognisable franchise, that I came in with my expectations high. And that was not a good thing to do.
Yeah.
I have some notes.
Okay.
One was that the cop should be fired. He is a terrible cop.
What, Paul Walker's character?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one learnt anything in this film.
Yes, it does just kind of end. There isn't a...
No one gets arrested.
Yeah, no one gets arrested. No one gets,
Cop is fired for not arresting them.
Yeah.
And the only redeeming part of this film was, again, Rick Yoon's hair.
Who... It wasn't Rick Yoon, though.
It was.
It was?
I would recognise Rick Yoon's hair, thank you very much.
Because I remember the Asian gang that they encounter midway through the film.
Yeah, it was Rick Yoon and his
It
hair.
was Ricky. Oh my god!
He had the most fantastic hair. How could you not remember it?
Well, probably because most of it he's hidden behind a motorcycle helmet, and I just didn't
No, he
realise.
doesn't wear a helmet. That would ruin his hair.
They're like a motorcycle gang, aren't they?
It doesn't mean they're bad guys. They don't wear helmets.
Safety, fuck safety. I don't care. I mean, yeah, it's going in the D tier thing for me as well because it is a confusing film. It does end in a sort of way where you're just like, wait, no, that's it.
I'm hoping that the sequels are just better.
Next up, Poseidon.
I actually quite like Poseidon.
Yes, we watched the remake of the Poseidon Adventure, and this one starred Kurt Russell and no other recognisable actors that I remember.
There was the lady from The Day After Tomorrow was in it, the girl.
Yes.
And I felt so sorry for her throughout the film. Her dad was awful to her.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he did not trust her at all.
Didn't it have Fergie in it? But she also had no speaking lines.
No, I think they cut them.
She-
I mean, she's she's not an actress.
She had a song at the start of the film, and then it was just like, and now she's there.
She had some long, lingering looks with the captain. I think there might have been something going on between them.
Yeah.
And they were embracing as they went down. So
yeah,
maybe it's fan fiction out there that we can read about Captain Holt and Fergie.
I'm good.
Okay.
I don't really want to read that, thank you, but you go right ahead. What are you giving Poseidon, Lottie?
It's an A. Poseidon. Mainly because her boyfriend, fiancé, might literally be Superman.
Yes, I was going to mention this if you didn't, and I knew you were going to. Because it was just a bit kind of like meh, I'm putting it in B. Don't hate me. But
Fred.
It doesn't it didn't quite elevate itself. However, the boyfriend character, who seemingly breaks both of his legs in the instigating.
His legs get crushed by a pole to the point where they had to drag him out. And he couldn't even move himself out. Yeah, they have to lift up a big heavy lighting rig off his legs, drag him out, and you see a very brief shot of his legs are like crushed. Broken and crushed.
Yeah. And then 20 minutes, not even 20 minutes later, he is monkey barring across a dining hall.
He's running around.
Yeah.
He limped for like 5, maybe 10 seconds.
Well, his legs were so badly hurt that he was carried on either side by the two ladies. The two ladies, yeah. He couldn't walk himself.
And then they're like, oh no, how are we going to cross this bridge? And he was like, don't worry, I'll climb it. And then just let go of those ladies and he started using his legs.
Yeah, just like, what? Okay.
I'm pretty sure he was Clark Kent.
Was the lighting rig just made of kryptonite, or was it,
It was, yeah, maybe his weakness is lighting rigs.
Maybe. I mean, I think if they hit you hard enough, anyone's weakness is lighting rigs.
True. But if you do get hit by a lighting rig, afterwards you'll be fine.
Oh my
Give it about 10 seconds.
Yeah. Daylight, which is a Sylvester Stallone disaster movie in a tunnel.
Oh, I loved Daylight.
Yes.
There was a character in there who, when he died, I got a bit teary-eyed.
Oh, good old George. We miss George.
He'd die. There were more characters that I would have been happy to see die. Like that guy who climbed down to them just to go, oh, I'm not here to save you, and then climbed back up and died.
Oh, yeah. I mean...
It was a bit like Poseidon, though, with the rising water motif.
Yes,
but Daylight did it better, so I'm giving that an A.
Hey! Again, because we watched it so long ago, there's a bit of me that doesn't remember a lot of it, so it's going in the same sort of B category for me. I do remember enjoying it a lot, but at the same time, like I've got to just be, we didn't even remember we watched it until like about a week ago.
Yes,
Lottie.
I think it suddenly popped up in my mind as like, oh, that film was great.
Yeah. Okay. We're on the last 3, so let's just battle through this.
Deep Blue Sea.
Deep Blue Sea. You do love yourself a good woman versus shark movie.
I love woman versus shark. I mean, unfortunately in this one, the shark got the better of the woman.
Yes, that does happen.
So it's not quite an S tier for me. I prefer it when womenkind defeat the shark.
Indeed. See also the film Lottie is referring to called The Shallows, which is a very tense and very well executed woman versus shark movie.
But yeah, Deep Blue Sea is definitely an A tier film.
A tier film,
it's
nicely
so
done.
Fun.
I can't believe.
It's aged remarkably well.
Yeah. It takes a while to get going. I'm going to go with A as well, but it is particularly daft, and I was just like, yeah, actually, why haven't we seen Deep Blue Sea? I think again, it might have been in the vein of it might have been just a bit too jump scary and horror-y for you, but I was just like, no, I'm just misremembering it.
Because there's no sharks going to be waiting under my bed. They can't breathe.
Stupid sharks can't breathe.
As long as I stay out of large bodies of salt water, I'm fine.
Yeah. Right, the penultimate film is The Rock. Welcome to The Rock.
I like to think it was a James Bond film, this.
Now, I think there is... not rumours, I think there are, like, articles investigating this, because I don't think this is... you're alone in this fan theory. I think the idea is that it was probably meant to be some sort of, like,
Maybe it's a spin-off.
Yeah, spin-off Bond film, and then Michael Bay got his hands on it and was just like, nah. It is a Michael Bay film, and it is weirdly a Michael Bay film that I love. It's going all the way up in the S tier for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, The Rock is a bona fide classic. It's Nick Cage, Ed Harris, and Sean Connery.
Nick just does a very good job, and so does Sean.
A couple of hours of ludicrous militarized action that should not work.
It's not quite an S tier for me.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's definitely A.
Yeah, fair enough. It's again, the sentimental value comes back for me because it is a film I have been watching since my teenage years. So there's that for me. It's just amazing. It's a great film. If you haven't seen it, like, again, just look at this list. Go watch all these films. At least all our our A and S tier films.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And maybe then if you're really desperate, go watch the B tier ones.
Yeah, go watch the B. Except for maybe the James Bond ones. You don't really need to watch those.
Oh yeah, that's that.
Oh no, we've reached the end.
We have reached the end, and now
watch the films.
We do.
I think we can manage that.
Yeah, we got the other two Transporter films to work through now.
That's good. I liked them.
You don't know what the other two are like, Lottie.
I've never seen them, but they can't possibly be. As long as they have less human trafficking in them, I'd be very happy with them.
That's your quota for it. I like that's your quota. Less human trafficking, please.
Less human trafficking, please.
Okay.
I'd be very upset if he carries on with it.
Yeah. Right. Well, thank you for indulging us in this, everybody. I will try and cut this down to a manageable size, but hey, it's a lot of rambling and talking about all this, lots of cool films. So
yeah, and I feel like the S to D tier isn't necessarily on how good the film technically is, just about our feelings towards them.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Should probably give that as a disclaimer.
Right, well, thank you for watching, everybody, and I'll see you in the next stream or video or whatever the hell comes up next on the channel. I don't know. It's late. We're very tired. We're going to go sleep now.
That sounds like an excellent idea.
Woohoo! It's sleep area now.
Whoop. Whoop, 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 whoop. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Pausing. Fred is pausing. He is fixing the tier list. Pausing, Fred is pausing. He'll know it's over when I stop singing.
It's not over, Lottie.
It's not over. I won't stop singing, even though I'm running out of words. Oh, that was too low for me.
Words.
That badly hurt. Words.
What are you doing?
Oh, I broke my voice.